So just like the alleged entanglement between Eminem and Mariah, we certainly came too early with some of the stories we covered in the last video. Hello again and welcome back to another one, and today we have some updates on stories we covered in the last video involving MGK revealing that he felt some type of way because he was left out of the White Rapper's Mount Rushmore, and this story has now gone viral that has sparked some wild reactions as now the conversation is shifting to the quality of white rappers in hip-hop music in comparison to what Mount Rushmore means for the genre, and we'll expand on this in a moment. And today we also have one that shows Ja Rule go ghost as soon as his receipts were called into question by a professional, as he was popping off on social media about how 50 Cent is a rat, until we got a review from a professional, and it seems that something happened to Ja Rule's internet connection since, and we'll expand on this in a moment. And today we also have one that's come from Will Smith's latest album that turned out to be a flop, as we got some crazy comparisons as somehow Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre have been dragged into this as some sort of proof that a flop was expected. But as you'd see at the latter part of the video, this turned out to be a massive level of cope. More on this later. And today we'll be starting with the latest on MGK's response to the viral White Rapper's Mount Rushmore, when MGK revealed "Me not on the White Rapper Mount Rushmore is blasphemy." And this conversation has gone pop and has now sparked conversations about the quality of white rappers in general. I mean, check this out for instance. First, Eminem is on a totally different level than the rest of these dudes, and it is not close. They don't deserve to be in the same category as him. Secondly, what about the Beastie Boys? They are icons and helped pave the way for the rest. My Mount Rushmore is Em and the Beastie Boys. And to get some more context on where this was going, another user expanded. The fact that nobody is addressing the fact that there aren't enough good white rappers for Mount Rushmore is crazy. Add battle rappers and we can have a real conversation. And this is a claim that's quite interesting, as some users are of the impression that to be part of Mount Rushmore, it's gotta be a lineup of nearly equal rappers, and at this point Eminem is so far ahead that it makes the lineup look weak. So essentially what I'm trying to say is that that meme about Eminem that's been popular on this platform for years is turning out to be a reality based on some of the reactions we've seen so far, and these users kept going, no, it is a good look to keep the list from looking less fraudulent than it is already. The list is whack. Leave Eminem there and scrap the other three. I understand people like Mac Miller, but he's not the one like that. And based on the reception that Mac Miller used to get when he was still with us, sadly, this user is on the money, because when he was still around, people would have been pointing out how he doesn't belong on the list too, which is quite cliche at this point, that you are only loved when you are gone. And Mac Miller adds to this example, sadly, and more that makes the meme a reality. The White Rapper Mount Rushmore is just Eminem, and the shadow of Killshot is here to stay, as some users kept going. If you got bodied by someone on the White Mount Rushmore, you are no longer eligible to be included on it. But this is not exactly true, as overall when it comes to the hip-hop Mount Rushmore, you'd often see Nas and Jay-Z, and it seems like Drake is beginning to get the Logic treatment, as a user expanded in response to the post about MGK with "No Action Bronson or Drake, bad list." And when you see jokes like this, you know Kendrick Lamar is gonna have to answer for his crimes, as now we see Drake getting the Logic treatment. And more that adds to the point, now that this has gone viral, that Eminem meme is becoming a reality. Check this out. M being on both white and black rapper Mount Rushmore is goat-ish. And here's one I'll throw to you guys before we move to the next point. No LP and A$AP Rock routinely being left off of lists, and the White Rapper Mount Rushmore is blasphemy. MGK being left off it is a sign there are still some basic standards in this world. And moving on to the next point, Ja Rule was quite confident when he brought out his nukes to expose 50 Cent.
Because I was hot. I was ready to go nuclear and shit. But, I say,
when he pulled up paperwork that's been debunked for years, and he was even replying to memes like "get cheese or die trying" with AI-generated images of 50 as a rat, to which he reacted with laughing and rat emojis. However, he got baited into getting debunked when a user posted 50 never told, and that rumor got debunked by the feds that was actually working on the case. He got questioned and refused to cooperate laughing emoji. The indictment had nothing to do with 50 Cent. Blame that on bad business from y'all boss and his business dealings. Murder Inc. was under indictment for bad business. The feds was already watching Murder Inc. company fake trying to be connected to the streets. When y'all wasn't real street dudes, the real people knew the truth and y'all got connected to the wrong person who currently is locked up now. The story being told. You can't link that ish to 50 skull and laughing emojis. And to this, Ja Rule responded with his screenshot that's been debunked once again. Order of protection is very real. Them boys rats. And if you saw our last coverage, you know that this was already debunked again by a professional who went into detail about how you gotta be a dummy to believe that this is proof of 50 snitching. But that hasn't stopped Ja Rule's desperate bomb from trying. And when the user responded with a screenshot that shows the lawyer debunking Ja Rule's quote receipts, so far we are yet to see a response from Ja Rule, as he's gone ghost. For someone who was actively laughing at memes and reacting to posts about how 50 is a rat, and this sparked reactions like, I think he lost his internet connection, laughing emojis, and the fact that he went silent since he was confronted with the take from the professional sparked more reactions like, Ja so damn slow, he proved that 50 never told, laughing my bum off. The ish say the informant and has a comma and name the rest, laughing my bum off. The informant was the damn engineer that was suing y'all dummies. It is in record, 50 and the others didn't offer a statement. Why would 50 get an order of protection? And so far, Ja is yet to respond to any of these takes, although he was actively responding to users when they were posting AI-generated images of 50 as a rat, and now some have concluded, how the F is anyone still questioning this? This is old news. Irv said he tried to blackball 50 after he was shot. Ja acting like a victim is really funny to me. Whoever thinks 50 is a rat is lame. They snitched on themselves, including faking the paperwork that 50 snitched. And to this, a user added, word up, this dude would be the first one showing everyone some papers with 50 on it, yet he never has. Gotti tried to finish 50 before he even got started, trying to block him from getting on, yet this dude trying to act like it is nothing, cause 50 finished his reign. I mean, Irv Gotti is on record on multiple occasions of how he blackballed 50 that turned out to be counterproductive, as 50 ended up with Eminem and Dre.
I blocked the nigga till he fell into M and Dre's lap.
Damn.
I was just the hottest thing. So I'd be like, yo, if you fuck with him, I ain't fucking with you. And they be like, we ain't fucking with him then, Gotti, forget it. He had a deal with Sony before. He, wasn't moving like that. You know what I'm saying? I'll block that nigga into a dream situation. I couldn't.
God's plan. I hate to say it, it's God's plan.
It is. That's all God's plans. It's God's plans for this, for whatever's happening now and everything like that. But you asked me if I could go back in the future and tell, I'd have said, yo, play it right.
And now some debunked paperwork is the last leg that Ja Rule is still standing on, although it has been radio silence since the professional chimed in on his quote paperwork. And moving on to the next point, if you were with us for the last video, you saw that Tony Rock put Will Smith on blast and trashed his new album for flopping. And now that the news about the album flopping is gaining some traction, it has sparked some interesting reactions, as somehow Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre were dragged into it. But before we get to that, on news of the album flopping, some have expanded. No one is interested in Will Smith's music and him trying to salvage his reputation in the black community by using music. But I don't think this is entirely true, as it was mostly split reactions when it comes to how people took Will Smith smacking the ish out of Chris Rock. And it is wild because under the report about the album selling just 268 copies in the United Kingdom, some are asking, how are the streaming numbers? Nobody buys CDs anymore, which is quite the ignorant take in this day, because streaming numbers are already converted to equivalent album sales. So if it did better on streaming, it would certainly be converted to album sales, and those streaming numbers would be enough to make an album chart. There are albums that have gone #1 that sold less than 1,000 pure copies, and I'm talking less than 1,000 CDs, vinyls, digital downloads, etc. Streams have been converted to sales since they became a metric on the charts, and a lot of hip-hop fans still struggle when it comes to how they view the Grammys, as on one end it doesn't matter, and at the other end we got this. He holds the first Grammy for a rap song. Anything else concerning his numbers is irrelevant.
Hard to see the correlation.
Now, this defensive post is in response to a factual report that it sold just 268 copies in the United Kingdom. So bro is defensive to a factual report, and perhaps the most based reaction to the news. Can't just unretire after 20 years and expect people to rock with the music. Still a legend though, and somehow Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg were dragged into this, as in response to the news about Will Smith's album flopping and selling 268 copies, we got this response. Same thing happened with Snoop and Dre's album. It is the era we live in. Better to focus on shows and merch being the product. Now, by same thing happened with Snoop and Dre's album, this user is either misinformed or straight up lying through his teeth. Check it out straight from Billboard. Snoop's Missionary album debuted in the top 10 across several Billboard charts, including top album sales number 7, top R&B/hip-hop albums number 7, top rap albums number 3, and number 20 on the Albums 200 chart according to Billboard. And it adds the LP, which marks the 53-year-old's 20th album and his first full album collaboration with Dr. Dre since 93's Doggy Style, sold 38,000 equivalent album units in its debut week. 38,000. Will Smith's album didn't even make the top 200, yet someone's on Twitter talking about how same thing happened with Snoop and Dre, and even in the United Kingdom on the official albums chart at number 24 and the official album sales chart at number 17. In comparison, Will Smith's album failed to make the top 100 in the United Kingdom on these charts. So no, this wasn't even remotely close to being the same thing with Snoop and Dr. Dre's album. In fact, even LL Cool J's latest album wiped this album, as The Force debuted in the top 10 on the top rap albums chart and number 50 on the Billboard 200 and earned over 16,000 equivalent album units in its tracking week. So there was no need to spread the flop to other legends who debuted in the 80s. This was unnecessary. But over to you guys. Share your thoughts below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy content like this, as we got new episodes every single day. See you on the next one.